Go ahead and get started. Everyone's looking great. Before we begin, I just want to let you know my name's Whitney Moore. I'm the Executive Director of the West Seattle Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that the West Seattle Chamber is located on the home of the original people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, and we honor the Duwamish past and present for their stewardship of this land throughout the generations. Next, I'd like to honor our platinum members, Amity Painting Company, The Kenny, Kiewit, White Center Glass, and Dan Wiseman. Our gold members, Cornerstone Benefits Consulting Group, Duwamish Tribal Services, John Gerhardt with Edward Jones, Home Street Bank West Seattle, Nucor Steel Seattle, the Port of Seattle, Quail Park Memory Care Residences of West Seattle, South Seattle College, Staples Westwood Village, and Verity Credit Union. Pete, currently we have 200 members, 200 even. And our new members since our last luncheon, we have Live Long and Plant, Susie Moosey and Co. And joining today, we have Wine Hunter, which sounds very exciting. And they just joined this morning, so I don't know what they do. I imagine it is alcohol related. We have two upcoming events. Our next virtual after hours is on the 18th from 5:30 to 6:30. And our West Seattle Chamber holiday party will be in person on December 8th from 5:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. Who's with me? Who's with me? Yes. All right, I'd like to introduce everyone to David Wall, founder of Urban Analog. Thank you so much for offering this presentation to us today. Please take it away.
All right, thanks a lot for having me. So it's actually, it's really a timely subject. So what I wanted to talk about today is search engine optimization. And I've written a lot of content on SEO, as a lot of people refer to it. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about search engine optimization and kind of what's involved. I'm sure you probably had emails that arrive in your email box that talk about getting you to page one for $300 a month, or as low as $100 you can spend and get some search improved results, or people will come to you and say, hey, I noticed you're not on page one. We'd like to help you out. And there's really, it's hard because I feel like there's a lot of businesses that will jump at some of those emails because they want the traction, but they don't necessarily understand exactly what goes into it, what's involved. It can be really technical. So hopefully we can dispel or kind of like demystify what search engine is and what's involved in it. And my goal is to kind of explain it just really quickly and talk to you about some ways that you can do things to help yourself, especially your ranking, or what we refer to as SERP or SERP, search engine result page ranking. And also to help you avoid kind of, there's unfortunately a lot of bad actors in this area that take advantage of the fact that not a lot of people know a lot about it, and that it is very technical, and that SEO, search engine optimization, is kind of a marathon, not a sprint. And so by the time, if you get with the wrong people, by the time you realize they're the wrong people, you may have spent a lot of money. And unfortunately, there's a low bar of entry to get in there. And if they do something that damages, or is what we call black hat SEO, and I'll explain that more later, it can damage your site and you're on the hook for it, not them. And so really what I want to do is kind of just protect business owners. I grew up on Vashon. I've lived in West Seattle for quite a long period of time, but I've stayed mostly in the Pacific Northwest. I realized when I set this up to talk about the topics and things that I wanted to cover, I was a little aggressive and a little overambitious on what I could accomplish in a short period of time. But I get excited and I tend to do that. I was coming from a lecture at the college and I was assuming everybody had that same level of knowledge, and I realized I got to bring it back a little bit. So what I wanted to do in addition to this meeting is also provide links, which I've shared in chat. And if you haven't got it, you can message me and I'll make sure it gets posted up there again. And it'll be some bullets and links to resources about what search engine optimization is, some terminology, some overviews, links to articles. I also plan to create a page just for West Seattle Chamber members if they want to come in and log into my site. And there'll be some video tutorials on how different things work, a little more in depth. There are some great resources that are out there. I want to make you aware of those. And I'll share those links also on that page. So you guys can find that stuff after we're done talking. So ultimately, search engine optimization, to explain it, is basically it's the art of optimizing your website with the goal of improving your rankings and search results and getting more organic traffic, which is basically any traffic that comes to you that's not paid. There are approximately 10 listings on the first page of Google, and there is an inside joke in our industry, maybe a little dark, but it says the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of search results, because no one goes there. And essentially it's not wrong. There are studies that show that between 70 to 90% of traffic never goes beyond the first page of search results. So when people are looking for things, if you don't show up on that first page, they may not find you. There is a very small subset of people that actually go beyond page 1. And so that makes being on those front pages really important for any business. And then people might sometimes get frustrated and like, well, hey, there's only 10 results on page 1, and I'm a mom and pop bookstore. How am I going to compete with some major bookstore to get that number 1 place? And it's a good point, but also there are things that are called keywords. What keywords are the words that people look up to try and find you, the words that people enter in search browsers and stuff. And you want to have those keywords as part of your website. So when someone's looking for like bookstore near me, those keywords are found in your web page, and Google goes, oh, hey, this might be a good answer to that. Now, we're kind of talking high level here, and I'm going to get into some detail, and I want to make sure I give that time, but I kind of give an overview of it. The idea that if you sold Chevy vehicles, Chevy cars, say you had a used car dealership that sold Chevy cars, you're never going to out Chevy. But Chevy might not be the keyword that you want to optimize for, because Chevy by itself is a brand. It could be Chevy Auto Parts, it could be Chevy Keywords, it might be Chevy Chase. I mean, there's a lot of different things. And so now what we're talking about is kind of specificity. We want to get in and focus on something that pertains to a keyword, but is more about your specific area. So again, let's take it back and look at restaurants. If I'm looking for restaurants as a keyword, I could be looking for I'm opening a restaurant and I want to find products that I need in my restaurant. I might want to find payment systems for restaurant. I might want to be a seafood restaurant. I might be a Thai restaurant. So Thai restaurant would be a long tail keyword. A better long tail keyword would be West Seattle Thai restaurants. That is now we're getting longer, and so I like to call it a key phrase, but they're called long tail keywords. And what it is it's a greater specificity. It pertains more exact to your business, and it isn't as general, but it also provides a better, it provides some insight into user intent and what people are actually searching for. And you may not want to be like as a restaurant, you may not want to be the best search result for restaurants because that could be any restaurant anywhere in the world. But West Seattle seafood restaurant, you might be a really good fit for. So we're talking more about specificity. And if somebody is searching for restaurants, you don't know that they're searching for you. They may not be a good fit. They may not be in your proximity. So, so when we're talking about keywords, keywords are really important pieces of content to have in your website. And that's just kind of an overview of these keywords that people use to try and find what they're looking for. And then Google also looks at your website and looks for those same words. And if you have enough of them in the right place, then you might be a good search. And so having that kind of specificity of keywords and knowing what people are looking for when they're looking for your business is really important. And that's what we call keyword research. And that's a key part of search engine optimization. So say, you have a business, you're here in West Seattle and you're looking for like, well, how are people finding me? So one of the things, and I think I can share screens here. Is that correct? Okay. Oh, I need you to grant me permission.
You just clicked it.
Perfect. All righty. So let me find, let's do it this way. I'm going to this page and this is, you're going to see my email for a second, and I'm going to just go google.com. One of the great ways to look for how people search for you, and this is really kind of easy and extremely informative, is so if I were looking for something right here, you can see some of my current trends, but if I start typing something like, let's say yoga studio. So if I start typing yoga, right here is yoga, yoga keywords, yoga near me, yoga Seattle, yoga West Seattle. These are keywords, and these are commonly searched keywords. So Google right now is trying to guess what I am looking for. And based on my proximity and based on what I've started typing here, it is making recommendations based on traffic. And so these are common yoga mat, yoga pants. So maybe I sell yoga merchandise. Maybe I'm looking for a yoga studio, right? Yoga studio near me. See, all of these are viable keywords that you can use to look at ways that you can incorporate this or fold this in. I look at it like you're making a cake and these are the chocolate, or a cookies. These are the chocolate chips, right? You want to fold these into your batter here. You want to look at, are there ways that you can use these keywords in your content when you explain what it is you do, what services you provide, and does it make sense? So yoga, maybe I'm doing hot yoga. So you can see this kind of changes. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit enter. So right here, what you see is there are 166 million searches for hot yoga studio. So 166 million searches and only 10 make the front page, right? So now you're 1 in 166 million, but also note that 166 million is the encompassing everybody, and not all of those are right, right? So what Google's trying to do is, so for the people that have entered hot yoga studio, it's trying to say, we came up with 166 million possible solutions, and it organizes them based on who's the best fit. So if you're trying to be the best hot yoga studio, you might want to specify something a little more close, right? So we haven't put in location at all. So this could be hot yoga studio California. This could be hot yoga studio, like the originators of hot yoga studio. It could be books about hot yoga studio. That can be all the results. So maybe I am going to kind of reduce that 166 million a little bit and optimize for something that's a little closer, because what we're trying to do is find people that are going to convert. We don't want people that are just looking for hot yoga studio. we want people that are looking for our specific hot yoga studio. So I might put Seattle, and let's see what that reduces that number to. Wow, that took it down to 27 million. So hot yoga studio in Seattle. If I put West Seattle, there we go. There's 10 million results possible. Now, obviously, there are not 10 million yoga studios in West Seattle. So one of the things to consider is that there are probably lots of bad review or links that aren't quite what we're looking for, but they might also have hot yoga studio or yoga studio West Seattle in them, right? So another thing to consider is this is more than one keyword. It's kind of lots of keywords. There's hot yoga studio, West Seattle, yoga studio Seattle. These are all keywords that you can use. But what I want to point out now is, now that we've narrowed it down from 166 million to 10 million, let's look at how it lays out. So one of the first things you see here is you see this ad. This is a link to Core Power Yoga, which is running an ad, and these keywords triggered that ad to show here. So this person is running an ad in Google Ads, and they want to be seen here. And so if I click on this, they're going to be charged a fee for whatever they agreed to pay. There's kind of a lottery system, and I won't go into that. That's a whole nother conversation. But the first result that's on my website that you can see is an advertisement. So there is no organic traffic right now above the fold, and the fold is what we call the bottom of the screen. And then the next one, yoga studios, and it shows a map. Now this one I love for a couple of really good reasons. And that is that this is much easier to become a top result. It is much easier to get to the top of map view than it is to get to the top of organic. And the reason why that's important is because notice we haven't seen organic traffic yet, but Core Power Yoga, there's an ad, Breathe Hot Yoga right here in our own Alaska Street. This is the #1 result out of 10 million. This is the #1 result in the West Seattle area. And that is amazing because we still haven't gotten to the organic traffic. This is a big part of why I'm going to talk about Google My Business as a must-have for small businesses. And that is because this is a very easy way to get in here. And it is also, when you talk about traffic, most people are going to come to your website through your cell phone for the first time. Something like 60 to 70% of all traffic to your website, their first interaction is going to be through your cell phone. And that also talks about if your website is not optimized for a cell phone, give me a call after this and we can talk about that. But that is dramatically going to impact the ability for you to be seen online. Right now, or actually 3 years ago, Google said they are no longer supporting non-mobile friendly websites, which means if your website is not mobile friendly, you are no longer being ranked in search results. You're going to drop off, you're going to disappear. And that is unfortunate, but Google wants to provide the best solution. And if 70% of their traffic that's searching on Google doesn't come through your phone, or is coming through your phone, and you're not optimized for the phone, they're not going to come to you. So they also talk about experience, and those are a whole lot of other things. I can get into that more later, but I don't want to run out of time. So this right here, Junction Hot Yoga, is the #1 organic search result. Now, this is what Google deems to be the best solution for hot yoga studio in West Seattle. This is the #1 search result. And they have links to classes, schedules, pricing, or team. There's yoga, Junction Hot Yoga. There's the word right there, hot yoga, West Seattle. And it has yoga studio right there, yoga studio. So hot yoga studio, West Seattle this is their #1 search result. But notice how much I had to scroll before I saw that. So if you are not the #1 search result on page 1 for your desired keywords, Google My Business is a good way to get there quicker. And it's also a great way to be here because notice it has links to the website. It has directions. If I click on this, it's going to do this amazing thing. Now, this is much better experience on a cell phone. And what most people are going to see is they're going to see this. Here's the website. You can get directions, save. You can make a phone call right from here. And that's great because you can actually track interactions as a business, who comes to you through this call, and you can respond. You can see ranks, reviews. People can offer reviews. You can respond to reviews. And again, I will get to that when we start talking more about Google My Business. You get questions and answers, popular times. I can see images, so I know where this is. I can read reviews, and I can get updates. This is all amazing, valuable content. And notice I'm no longer in search results. So once I click over, I'm in the what's called the map view or the mobile view for search. So it doesn't matter what the #1 search result is. If I've clicked through that map, this is all that's important to me right now. Or I click this little arrow to get back here. So most people aren't going to spend that time. They're going to come down here. They're going to go breathe hot yoga. That sounds good. They've got a 4.5 ranking, or they're going to click on this ad here, right? And note it's an ad, but it doesn't look like an ad. That's the only thing right there distinguishing that it's not an ad. So, I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to go and visit my sites. Or there, Junction Hot Yoga 5 stars. So if I'm looking at ranking, that's important, you know. And then we're going to come down here, and these are the rest of the results. Here's another thing, related searches. This is Google again feeding you a lot of really valuable keywords. So when we're talking about keywords in your content, you want to find keywords. One of the fastest, easiest ways to do it is start searching for your content in search engines. And here's something that's even pretty cool. You don't even have to limit yourself to Google search through that listing. You can also search, if you have multimedia, you can also search for hot yoga. Oops. Here's some great keywords here as well. So hot yoga for beginners, that's a great keyword. Hot yoga poses, hot yoga class, hot yoga and contortion flexibility, total body stretch. These are fantastic, powerful keywords that you can use to incorporate into your content. Now, we've talked about keywords, and I can go on for this. I don't want to hammer too hard. I do want to absolutely say that I would love to, I will do this really quick. I want to share in the chat. So people are talking to me. I apologize. I didn't have that up. I'm going to share my email here. So if I miss your question, yeah, and the core biz for that ad isn't even West Seattle. So Jennifer pointed out, that's absolutely true. And I want you to understand something. And this is for all Google's talk about trying to provide the best answer. I want to tell you, or actually I'll just show you. And this is heartbreaking, but let's go back to Google search. And I'm going to do SEO. So I'm going to search for SEO. There's 500 million searches here. Best SEO agency, award-winning, big leap, right? Now check this out. This is what a lot of people are going to do because they want affordable SEO. They want to know how to do it affordably. And they're going to get these ads here. Affordable SEO for $99 a month. That's not possible. I'm going to tell you right now, SEO is it can be a very expensive service. And I'm going to show you why it is expensive and also why it's cheap, or what can be cheap about it. But I will tell you, if you signed on with this, and this is like the #2 ad, here's a #3 ad, here's a #4 ad, 100% money back guarantee. Nope. All of this I would say is a huge red flag. Now let's put it into perspective. I know there are affordable SEO solutions. There are many things you can do affordably to help your SEO, but what they're promising you, you're going to spend that money that you could have invested in something that was more valuable and get something out of it. This is like taking a paper cup from a water cooler and trying to fill Lake Washington. There is nothing, but by the time you're done, and a lot of these, I will tell you, are bait and switch. You'll get in there and then they'll upsell you and then they'll lock you into a 12-month contract. There are so many reviews out there that talk about people have spent thousands of dollars and been burned by it. And when someone's preaching that they can do SEO for $100 a month, I will explain what is involved in doing SEO. And then you can make the determination, how could you do that for $100? That would be less than $1 an hour, because of the amount of things that you need to be able to do. So the ads, look for the ad. The ads are not always the best option. Now I'm not get too far into that, because this is one of those things that hurts me so much, because I will say 95% of the core of our business is people talking to us about, hey, we need help with SEO, but we've worked with people before and we've been ripped off, we've been scammed, nothing's happened. And people are nervous about it. And then they hire me and I'm a little more expensive. And then they get really nervous because they've been ripped off before. And they're like, they don't want to pay the price. They want to find something more affordable. And again, it's kind of like, you walk in to buy a car, you got $10 to your name. If you buy a $10 car, how much faith do you have that that car is going to run? You know what I mean? You might find somebody that's selling a car for $10. There might be an extreme scenario where somebody's like, hey, just give me $10, take it. It might be worth it to you. But the reality is things have certain costs afforded to them. So before we go too far down that, I want to take us over to Google My Business. So I'm going to do a new share and I'm going to go to, hopefully I can find it here in my many screens. Here we go. Google My Business. So I'm going to start. I took you straight into mine because I manage a lot of different Google My Business accounts for a lot of different people. And I don't want to necessarily share their data. That's going to be personal to them. But I do want to provide something that is really valuable to you. So Google My Business, when you set up Google My Business, it is really important that you register a business to a physical address and not a PO box. I will tell you this story about Urban Analog and how it came to be and how I learned the hard lesson with Google My Business. When this tool first came out, I go Google My Business and I linked to a PO box because I was doing it out of the basement. And it was basically part-time while I was doing some college recourse work. And I just had Urban Analog was basically it was more of a, instead of a business, I created the name, but it was more of a portfolio of work. I've worked in the tech sector for years. I helped redesign T-Mobile after their failed acquisition. I've worked for Microsoft, Disney, Amazon, all these major tech companies. And a few years ago, I decided that I needed a break from that corporate structure and just to get out of it. And I found greater pleasure, even though it was a lot less, a big downstep financially. There was a greater reward in helping smaller businesses just be aware of the tools and the things that can help them that they may not be aware of. So I started Urban Analog, but I had parked it at a PO box. And Google said that's a violation of our terms and they blacklisted me. I had to petition Google to show that I had corrected the errors and petition them to relist me in search results. That took a long time, but when I came back on, my results, I couldn't be found. If you Googled Urban Analog, you could not find me, and that was my domain name. That's how badly it impacted me. Now, I set up Google My Business and I started posting on here regularly. And I filled it out. I filled out everything. I talked about all the services. I started posting blogs and I featured those blogs, and within 3 months, I was able to be the #1 search result for SEO West Seattle. I was the #1 and the #3 I was the number one search result in Google Maps. That's that map part that I showed you. And then I became the number 3 and the number 5 organic result on page 1 for West Seattle SEO. Now, that's fallen by the wayside because I've been so busy. I'm a small business. I haven't been able to work on my own website. And to be honest, that is mostly the type of people that I help, is that they're so busy doing their day-to-day operations that they don't have time to do this. But if I show you how to do this, you're not going to get scammed by people that are, offering you the world, but actually only capable of providing small amounts. So what I will say is go to Google My Business, set it up to a physical address. You can state that you do not serve or offer your services at a physical location, that you visit clients, and then it won't show your physical address as a location, but it will pin you as a proximity. The reason that's valuable is, as you saw when we were doing our search results, Hot Yoga Studio West Seattle, the maps came up as the number 2 results, and there was like 3 to 5 results right there. Those results were local and they were based on the proximity. So Google looks at the GPS of where I'm located, and that happens so much on a phone. They look at where are you located, and if you are located within a certain proximity, they're going to serve you these results and say, hey, here's a good location for you, and they're going to elevate you in search for certain areas. So keep this updated. And then it has this section called posts. This is really valuable. Posts, you can show 1 to 2 posts every 7 days, and then they disappear or they kind of archive. I think they let them stay a little bit longer, but what I would do is post 1 time every week. That's, if you do nothing else, just do that. And a post can be special offers. It can be what's new. It can be events. So for people in the real estate area, like I should have posted this event as my event, and I can see like, hey, this got 5 views. Nobody clicked through, but there is a learn more option, right? So if I want to create a new post, I have to move you guys to the other side so I can do that. I can do a COVID-19 update. I can do a special offer. I can do what's new. So this is just an update of my business. Events, I can talk about products, right? And that's super valuable because that will show up on their mobile phones, and it'll show up in their search, and it'll show up in browsers, but it also shows content circulating. Google goes, oh, hey, they're updating this content. This is probably pretty valuable. I'm going to keep you up, and I'm going to elevate you and keep you going. And the more you post every week here, and you maintain that post, and it takes about 5 minutes to do it. But if you're focused on your business, just do a quick post. You can add a photo. You can upload one from your website. You can go to your albums. So if I upload a photo, I'll just show you, let's see. I'm gonna, I gotta move your faces to the other side. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna upload this photo. And so there's a photo, and I might say, actually, I'm going to do what's new. So it's an update. I'm going to say, this is an update on how to grow your earning power, right? And then it says you can add a button, optional. I always do it. I never forget to add a button. But their buttons are targeted to be specific things. You can't choose what it says. So I can book an appointment, I can order online, I can buy something, I can learn more, which is what I would do for this thing. I can sign up. So if I'm talking about a newsletter here, I can put sign up and link right to where you sign up. I can call now, in which case it'll use the number, the phone number that is associated. So if somebody saw this and they want to learn, they can click on this button and it'll give them the opportunity. If they're on their phone, it'll dial me up right there. So it's really valuable. But if it learn more, and then I put in the URL to my website, it'll link right to my website right from here. And so when they click on this button, I'm going to cancel all this. When they click on this button, they're going to go right to where I asked them to go to. And hopefully you can see this. Are you seeing? You're seeing a 404 error. But anyway, so I have to update that. I changed my links. So this is an error on my part that I could fix and improve my SEO. So let me go back into chat. So Shopify, there's a question about Shopify SEO app. So all SEO apps, there's a lot of kind of basic functionality that are equated to the structure of the various frameworks like WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, etc. But most of them, when it talks about SEO, there are some things that are important. Now, that's a great segue into my next conversation about keywords. So one of the things I want to talk about is I'm going to do urban analog. I'll just do my, oops, I got to do it in the browser. Urban analog. So when I'm looking at my place, there are some things that I want to change here, but I haven't had the ability to do. Notice, here we go. Facebook has a listing. So this is my urban analog page for Facebook. Now, there's a lot of optimization errors that I can correct on my own, but what this is this is based on the title tag in my website. So when you see WordPress say, what's the title for your page? What you want it to be is a keyword with a description kind of what this is. So this would be, let's go back to that hot yoga. That's a better one. Hot Yoga Studio West Seattle. So what you see here is yoga is their keyword. Junction Hot Yoga is the name of the company and where it's located right here, right? So yoga is the keyword. Let's come down here. West Seattle, I assume Yoga 6 is the name of the company. So when you're when you're entering your title tag, look at your keyword. So like this would be an excellent keyword for a title tag. I'm going to do a little trick here. It's going to look tricky, but I'm sorry, this is just taking a quick second. So let's see if I can get that right there. There we go. So right here, I don't know, are you guys seeing this? Hopefully you're seeing what I'm pulling up here. This piece right here is a link and it says West Seattle Yoga 6. So what I would do is I would put Hot Yoga West Seattle, this right here, and it's going to look like it changes. So this would be a really good title tag. So Hot Yoga Studio West Seattle, and then Yoga 6. This would be a really good title tag for their page. And this down here, this is the description. So in this, it would be great to have the words Hot Yoga Studio West Seattle or Hot Yoga in this description. And you want to keep it around, I think it's like 130 characters tops. This is the description. And the description, Google will say, you know, we don't look at title tags or descriptions, but the thing is, when people are trying to decide what link to click on, they do look at this information. They do look at the descriptions, and they use that to decide whether or not this is a good fit for what they're looking for. So even though Google doesn't directly take this as a ranking factor, it is something that people use. That's a title tag. So Shopify, Magneto, Squarespace, WordPress, a lot of them will have title tags. This is what they're talking about right here, is what's going to show up. And then they're asking for description, and this is what's going to show up. The other thing they're looking for is a URL. So if it's not their homepage, if it happens to pertain to like a page on their website, but not the main page, like right here, Seattle Yoga News, West Seattle Best Yoga Studio, right? So this is the, up here, hopefully you can see this. This is where the URL, and this is a user-friendly URL because it says West Seattle Best Yoga Studios. That's why it's a good fit. So this is a blog. This is not SeattleYogaNews.com. It's a blog, but it ranked really well for this service. I am sorry, I just checking because I thought another thing. I want to make sure that I'm like starting to get towards the end of my time, and I thought I could be a little bit faster on this, but what I would say is West Seattle Yoga Best Yoga Studios. That's the name of this blog that they're showing here, and this is the content around that blog. And this brings up a really good point here. As we go back to where this was located, right? The West Seattle Best Yoga Studios, that's not what this website is about. This is a newspaper, but the blog itself ranked really well for Hot Yoga Studio West Seattle. So if I were using this to research and find more information about Hot Yoga Studios in West Seattle, this might be a really good fit. If I were looking to schedule an appointment, this probably isn't a good fit. But the point being is that if I that the SeattleYogaNews.com ranked really well in an area that probably is not related to their business with the blog, which means that there's no other way to say this. Blogs are an amazing way to create in-depth content that will drive traffic to your business. So if you were a company and you sell, say, like you sell widgets, whatever the widgets are, you're going to optimize your website to be to people that are trying to go through a what we call a buyer's funnel. That is, they're looking for something specific, they know what they want to purchase it, and they want to leave, right? But when you optimize your website to that, it becomes very targeted and very focused on a specific task, and it excludes people that might be researching, not quite ready to buy. So by adding a blog, you can tell a story that fits a variety of narratives. Going back to Chevy trucks, for example, if I sell Chevy trucks, I'm going to optimize my website towards people that are buying trucks. Let's say they buy trucks online, right? Well, that's going to be very optimized towards people buying trucks, right? But people that are not sure if a truck is a good fit or what type of truck may have a hard time finding you. You may not rank for off-road vehicles, but people that are looking for off-road vehicles may be interested in buying off-road vehicles that you sell for Chevy trucks. So they may not be looking for Chevy off-road trucks or for, even Chevy. So if you were to write a blog that talks about why Chevy makes the best off-road vehicles and incorporate Seattle and link back to your website to trucks that you're selling that fit in with that narrative, that's a great way to drive targeted traffic. And so your blog might rank with people that are looking for off-road vehicles or researching about, off-road trucks, and they find your blog as one of the top search results because you've ranked really well for that blog. And then it leads them into where they can purchase. I equate it to the people that are sitting down in the pier, fishing off the piers, right? They've got like 15 fishing poles. The more blogs and content you write that's in-depth, informative, and unique content targeting a specific concept, the more fishing poles you have in the water and the more ability you have to drive people and kind of funnel them into your website where they can then buy products from you or purchase services that you offer. So this can be accomplished through Shopify, WordPress, Squarespace. A lot of these services have blog functionality. I highly encourage you to create blogs. And when you create a blog, you can take that URL right here and then go back to Google Business page. Actually, if I do this, it's going to take me into my group setting, which I don't want to necessarily do, but you can take that. And when I showed you about creating a post in your Google Business page, that's the URL. So you can say, hey, we just wrote a new blog on why Chevy trucks are a great option for off-road vehicles. So I am going to provide, I know we're coming up on the end of time, and I apologize. I didn't get even close to where I would like to talk. I would like to make this record. I know they're going to make the recording available. I would also like to share with you a file that I'm going to share on my personal website, and I'm going to create a login that I'll share with Whitney, and we can circulate this around to anyone that's interested as part of the West Seattle Chamber, where you can log in and learn more about it. I know we covered so much, and your brain's probably spinning if you have no kind of reference to that. If you take away anything, I want you to understand that SEO involves keyword research. It involves generating unique content. That unique content can create backlinks. It has to do with optimizing the structure of your website. And all of those things can take, even if it takes, 15 hours a week to do it, it's kind of like moving a boulder. It takes a lot of effort to get it going, but once it's going, its own momentum will carry it for a distance. It will eventually slow down and stop if you don't persist at it. So when people say SEO is a marathon, not a sprint, it means that you have to constantly work at it. You constantly evolve, develop new content, look at what's focusing, what's trending. And the last thing I'll lead with you is, if you're like, how do I write a blog? If you own a business, just like I did here, something that you're passionate about, something you can talk longer than you think you can about. I will show you how to find subject matters using Google Trends, or set alerts in Google when certain topics come up that could relate to your business. And when those topics come up, you can look at what your competitors are writing about and what's doing business for them. And you go, oh, I'm going to write about it in my own words. And that content, once you get going, I think you'll be surprised how much you can write on it. Lastly, when you are writing a blog, make sure it's unique to you, because if somebody can get it anywhere, why would they come to you? So you want it unique to you, and you want it in depth. Google ranks quality over quantity. They're not looking for just a few links here and there. They're looking for quality. And when people are searching for content, they will scan until they find something they want to know about, and then they want to deep dive, in depth, gain knowledge from that. And once you do that, you become an authority on the matter, and people start referring to you, and that builds that root structure that ranks you higher. So I hope this has been informative. I'm sorry I didn't get to hardly anything that I wanted to cover, but I would like, if there are questions, or if we have a few minutes left, I would love to be able to answer those questions.
I think we might have time for a question or two, and then member announcements. Anybody have a burning SEO question? Anyone? I don't see any hands raised. No one's unmuting. Everyone's terrified. Great.
I'm sorry about
Shannon
that.
and John. No, we got one from Shannon.
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
No, I'm terrified. I don't want to blog. So, yeah, how do I find someone to do that for me?
Well, I can blog for you. So that's one of the services we offer, but that is also one of the reasons why so I will tell you right now, our starting SEO package is $1,500 a month. And the reason for that is because when we blog, what we do is we'll go out and we'll find, we review your competitors, we research the subject matter, we find trending content, and we do a deep dive, in-depth analysis. We do about a 2,000 word blog, then we incorporate that with the keywords and we write it based on our formulas and stuff, and we incorporate that in there. We also do a lot of keyword reporting stuff, but we can offer blog services as standalone. If you want to message me, I can talk to you about that. You can take blog content that's interesting. It will be some value from other people. There will be some value to it. However, you're going to be providing the lion's share of the SEO value will be for the originators of the content and not for your website, but it might provide value and help rank your website as well. It'll just be minimal compared to doing unique content.
Thank you.
Awesome. And Katie Kraus raised her hand.
Yeah, it's just good to learn more about the blogs. We're a senior living community and we do pay a group to manage our website, and we do have a blog aspect to it, and I've never understood it, and so now I'm way more clear because we have articles on the weirdest stuff like gifts for seniors and the senior microbiome. I'm like, what the heck? So now it's like totally coming together, and I'm like, okay. And it's pretty young people that, you know, run that part of our website, so I can definitely appreciate their hard work more. So thank you.
You know, what they're trying to do is capture trending topics, that is traffic for keywords that have high volume. That means a lot of people are looking for these, and the higher volume, the harder it is to kind of get noticed for those specific keywords, but providing interesting content that captures certain areas and then can then funnel that. The idea of the blog is it's the fishing pole on the pier. The more that you have out there, the more content. The whole goal is to funnel it into your site so that they learn more about you.
Cool.
I like that analogy. All right, if there are no more questions, except for Jen, I know that you want to learn how to do the area, how to drop a pin for an area rather than using a physical address because you don't have a brick and mortar. Is that a difficult thing to know how to do?
No,
David?
actually, I can just tell you that when you're setting up your Google business account, if you haven't already set it up, it'll ask if you offer services at your physical location or if you go offsite. And if you go off, if you check that you go offsite, they don't necessarily list your exact location. They list your proximity, but your proximity might be the center of your zip code. So the pin might look like it's on your house. And the big thing about Google is they're trying to provide resources to specific locations. They're trying to avoid people that don't have physical locations. They've made some changes lately that allows you to kind of target areas, but I've been running my business out of an apartment. I had a physical location. Nobody came. I was throwing money away on managing a physical location. So I understand. And also real estate people, tons of real estate people want to take advantage of the Google My Business. It's an excellent resource for them. But again, you know, they have the physical office or they have their personal space. I tend to tell them, do it towards their physical office. As you know, this is where I'm going to be around. If you really don't want people to find your address, but people can still find it.
Okay. Any member announcements
Yeah.
before we sign off? Linda?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great, thank you. Yes, you know, the Kiwanis auction, virtual auction is coming up right away. I think a lot of you know about that. This is a great way to promote your business. We need your items for your donation. We need those by Wednesday, November 10th. You can contact me. There's information on the chamber website too. So anyway, and I'll be contacting some of you, you know, hopefully that reminding you to donate. It's a wonderful way to promote your business here in West Seattle White Center. Burien is basically the areas where people are going to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Next, we have Pete Spalding.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that this Saturday night, one of our members, 12th Night Productions, is having their annual cabaret event.
Ooh.
And it's been moved virtual again this year. And it's always a fun time. They do a great job with putting on their show. So it's Saturday. I think it starts at 6:30. You can find information on their website.
Awesome. Thank you, Pete. Next, we have Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I'm coming to you from my shipping department today, and I want to share, this is our special edition ornament this year. Every year we do something Northwest themed. This is a jellyfish, so I hope you all can kind of see that it's a stylized jellyfish like the ones found in our bays and waterways. And this sells for $45, including shipping, and you can get it at our Etsy store. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Any other announcements? We don't have any other hand raised. All right. Well, if that's it.
wait.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Dan.
Dan Austin, everybody.
Hey, so last week was our anniversary over at PLM Press, heading into 8 years. And as we do every year, we didn't do it because of Halloween. We're going to do it this weekend. Friday through Sunday, 20% of all of our sales are going to go to purchasing hams and turkeys for the food bank. I think we've done a little over 3 tons of turkey in our 7 previous years of doing this. So all you have to do is show up and eat. So order some food, come by, pick it up, dine in, whatever you want, and we'll take care of the rest. So
That's awesome. That's Friday to Sunday.
Friday through Sunday.
But awesome. Great. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Look at this. We're right at time. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to send out the link to the document and to the recording after once it's available. And everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah.